All right, let's pick this back up. All right, everyone, take a breath. We are starting a brand new season today.
Finally! I've been waiting for this since I finished my morning yoga.
And I've been waiting since I woke up with my eye twitching.
Can we please focus? We have a massive mission today. We are essentially performing a software update on the female libido.
That's a great way to put it, Jane. We're looking at Emily Nagoski's Come As You Are. The goal is to strip away all those old buggy cultural glitches and look at the actual hardware.
Exactly. I mean, I've been reading the opening chapter, and it's already calling out the wrong stories we've been fed.
It starts with some heavy linguistics. He's looking at how anatomists used to describe female genitals.
Oh, it's brutal. He mentions the word pudendum. It comes from the Latin pudere, which literally means to make ashamed.
Yikes. So the very name implies that being seen is inherently shameful?
Right. The whole logic back then was that because female genitals are tucked away, it's because women are naturally designed to be, well, ashamed.
Which is obviously complete nonsense. It's a classic case of what we've been talking about, taking a biological fact and forcing a meaningful narrative onto it.
And that's where Nagoski starts her rebuttal. She says, look, if we ignore the shame for a second, which is easy, because it's eye-rollingly obvious, why are they positioned differently?
And she gives this brilliant, purely mechanical answer. It's not about modesty, it's about logistics.
Logistics. I love it. Like, sorry, I can't be modest right now. I'm busy transporting DNA.
Exactly. She points out that the clitoris is right up front, just like the penis, it's just smaller. Because, as she says, women don't need to transport DNA from inside their bodies to someone else's.
In the labia, they're in the same place as the scrotum. They just don't extend as far because the ovaries are internal.
And the ovaries are internal because, pregnancy. It's not a secret. It's just how the plumbing is laid out.
It's all about the hardware. She uses this concept of biological homology.
She says it so clearly, all the same parts organized in different ways.
Wait. So you're saying the difference is just a matter of arrangement? Like a different way to fold the same piece of origami?
Precisely. She takes this amazing leap into embryology. She talks about two fertilized eggs, one XX, one XY. At the start, they're identical. They have the same prefab universal genital hardware.
It's only at about 6 weeks that a wash of hormones hits. If the embryo responds, it goes male configuration penis, testicles, scrotum.
And if it doesn't respond to that specific wash, it stays the female configuration clitoris, ovaries, labia.
So the blueprint is the same. It's just what did she call it? The
masculinizing hormone wash. It's like a conditional statement in a line of code. If hormone presence equals true, then execute male pattern.
God, Seth, stop making everything sound like a Python script.
Fine, but look at how she applies this to the actual parts. She mentions nipples.
Oh, the nipple bit is classic.
She says evolution is as lazy as it can get. Since nipples are already there at the start of development for all mammals, evolution just leaves them. It's easier than trying to program a delete command for males.
Honestly, I relate to that. Why work harder than you have to?
But then she gets to the grand central station of the whole book, the clitoris.
And she doesn't hold back on the scale of it.
She calls it the grand central station of erotic sensation. And get this, it can be 1/8 the size of a penis, but packed with nearly double the nerve endings.
Double? That's a complete hardware overhaul.
And there's this massive misconception she's trying to smash. People think the clitoris is just this little nub at the top.
But the biological reality is much more, expansive. It includes the glands, plus these legs, the crura and bulbs that extend deep inside, wrapping around the vaginal opening.
It's like discovering that the nub you see is just the tip of a much larger iceberg buried under the surface.
Which brings us back to her main point. The hidden nature of female anatomy isn't a cultural mystery or a source of shame. It's just an anatomical reality of how the parts are organized.
So, the bug isn't in the body. The bug is in how we're reading the manual.
Exactly. We need to stop looking through the cultural lens and start looking through the biological one.
So, we've established the hardware is the same, just a different layout. But Nagoski doesn't stop at the clitoris. She goes straight into the anatomy of the penis to prove the point.
And it's so interesting because she's looking at the external parts, the glands, and the shaft end, showing how the internal parts are mirrors of each other.
Right. She points out that the clitoral hood is the exact homologue of the foreskin. They perform the same job, protecting the head of the organ.
So it's like different types of protective casing for the same sensitive electronics?
Exactly. And she even finds this Y spot, the frenulum, on the male side, and links it to the female fourchette.
The fork? The little curve of tissue at the bottom of the vagina?
That's the one. And she calls it highly sensitive and undervalued real estate on all bodies.
I love that phrase, undervalued real estate. It's like we're all walking around with these incredible hidden features that we just never mapped out.
Which brings us to the map, because she basically tells the reader, stop reading and go find it.
She literally gives a tutorial. Find it visually, find it manually. She's like a field guide for your own body.
She even gives tips. Use a mirror, spread the labia, use your finger. She even suggests using spit or coconut oil to help you find that rubbery little cord under the skin.
It's very tactical. But the reason she's being so, well, instructional is because of the story she tells.
Oh, I saw this part. This is the part that made me want to enough to go find a billboard.
It's about a student in her class. The student was Skyping her mom, mentioning the lecture slides had actual photos of vulvas.
And the mom, who was 54 years old, said, and I quote, "I don't know where the clitoris is."
54?
Oof. That is a massive system error right there.
It's a total failure of the software we've been running. Nagoski says this story is why the whole first chapter is about anatomy. She wants to put up billboards in Times Square, animated GIFs. She wants everyone to just know.
And she says, knowing where your clitoris is, that's power.
I mean, she's not wrong. Knowledge is the first step to any kind of agency.
But it's more than the where. She gets personal here. She admits that when she first looked at her own clitoris as a student, she cried.
Because she was 18 in a bad relationship and just looking for answers.
And finding out that it wasn't gross or weird, it was just part of her. It belonged to her.
That's a heavy way to frame it. It belonged to me. Like he was a territory that had enough been occupied by shame until she reclaimed it.
Exactly. And then she moves into the lips, both great and small. She's basically saying, look, there is no standard version.
She breaks down the labia minora, the small lips, and says they might be hidden or they might extend out. They might be one color or a gradient. Pink, beige, brown, all normal.
And the outer labia? Same thing. Hairy, not hairy, puffy, flush with the body.
She's really attacking that porn standard, isn't she? The idea that everything should be tucked in and perfectly even toned.
Yeah, she points out that softcore porn often uses digital editing to make everything look less detailed. It creates this narrow, false normalcy.
So we're all comparing our natural selves to a digitally edited lie. No wonder everyone feels like their hardware is glitching.
And then she hits the final big myth, the hymen.
Oh boy, here we go. The freshness seal.
She absolutely destroys this. She says, virtually everything you were even taught about the hymen is wrong.
I mean, she's being kind of blunt here, but she's right.
She clarifies that while intercourse can be painful if there's no lubrication, which is the much more common culprit, the hymen isn't some permanent breaking seal.
Right. It doesn't break and stay broken. If it tears or bruises, it heals. And it doesn't even necessarily bleed.
It's more like it becomes more flexible over time as it's stretched.
Exactly. It's not about damage. It's about adaptation.
So, if we go back to our software update idea, the hymen myth is like an old corrupted file that's telling you the system is compromised every time it's used.
And we just need to delete it, replace it with the actual biological data.
Which is exactly what she's doing, building the foundation piece by piece. So, we've debunked the breaking of the hymen. But Nagoski uses it to launch into something even more wild. She says the hymen is just one more example of extreme variation.
Right. It's more than broken or not broken. She says some women are literally born without one.
Wait, like zero? Just no seal at all?
Exactly, or the opposite in imperforate hymen, where it's a solid membrane covering the whole opening.
Which sounds like a massive medical nightmare.
It can be, but she focuses on the why, and her answer is just as lazy as the nipple theory. She says the hymen has no reproductive function, it's just evolutionary leftovers.
A little bonus left behind by the juggernaut of evolution. I love that. It's just biological debris.
Like the crumbs at the bottom of a popcorn bag.
But here's the kicker. She says the only reason the hymen is a thing in our heads is because of the stories we tell. And those stories are about control.
She gets so much darker here. She says the idea of the hymen as a marker of virginity only exists because, historically, women were treated as property.
Which makes sense. If you're buying a person, you want to check the security seal on the package.
Exactly. She calls it a gated community. The vagina becomes this valuable real estate that needs a barrier to prove it hasn't been accessed.
That is incredibly bleak.
It is, and it's not even a metaphor. She points out that in some cultures, women are actually beaten or killed because of what people believe about their hymen.
So the software error in the culture is literally killing people. That's a system-wide crash.
And she points to the reconstruction surgeries as proof. people are literally paying to surgically create a barrier that has no biological purpose, just to satisfy a social myth.
Man, I mean, where's the surgery to reconstruct male nipples?
Exactly. Sorry, I need to look more natural. Please add some evolutionary leftovers back onto my chest.
It really highlights the absurdity, but she shifts gears to something a bit more practical. She wants to clean up our vocabulary.
Thank God, because people use vagina and vulva interchangeably like they're the same thing.
It's so annoying. It's like calling your forehead your throat.
Right. She lays it out. Vagina is the internal canal, vulva is the external parts. And the mons pubis is the mound where the hair grows.
Okay, I'm with you. I can update that part of my dictionary.
But then she moves into the sticky bits. And this is where she gets into the actual mechanics of arousal.
She talks about the Bartholin's glands. They release fluid to reduce friction.
And she makes this really interesting point about the wetness metaphor. We always talk about vaginas getting wet as a sign of being ready.
Yeah, the standard indicator.
But she points out that the male body gets wet too. The Cowper's gland produces pre-ejaculate.
So why do we only use wetness as a metaphor for the female side?
Because we've hyper-focused on the male hardness and female wetness as these two separate gendered poles of arousal.
Wait, so you're saying the software is intentionally ignoring the fact that both sides do both things?
Precisely. She says it's a cultural thing. We put a spotlight on male erection and a spotlight on female lubrication, but the biological reality is that both bodies experience changes in blood flow and secretions.
It's like we're looking at a split-screen movie and ignoring the fact that both actors are doing the same choreography.
That is such a great way to put it.
And she doesn't stop there. She gets into the Skene's glands. These are the female version of the prostate.
The prostate. Okay, now we're really talking about the same hardware.
Right, they swell during arousal, which can actually make it hard to pee right after an orgasm.
I think a lot of us have experienced that holding it moment.
Yet the cleansing breath struggle is real.
But she uses the Skene's glands to lead into the big topic. Female ejaculation, or, as it's known in the tabloids, squirting.
And there it is, the controversy.
She notes how confusing the messages are. On one hand, it's seen as too much or unfeminine because it's so emphatic.
And on the other hand, it's this rare commodity that gets put on display in porn.
She's pointing out that women are stuck between being shamed for being too wet and celebrated for it only when it's a spectacle.
It's like being a unicorn. You're only cool if you're rare and magical, but if you actually show up in real life, people are like, wait, that's too much glitter?
Exactly. And she brings it back to the fundamental point. It's all just variation. Some women do, some women don't. It's a byproduct of the glands.
And she ends this section with something beautiful. She talks about the scent of the vulva.
Oh, here we go, the scent talk.
But she's not talking about hygiene in a clinical way. She describes it as a rich and earthy bouquet with a hint of woody musk.
Sounds like a high-end forest candle.
Or a very expensive cologne. But she's making a point. Your body has a fragrance. It changes with your cycle, your diet, your age.
And she says, if you find it weird or gross, it's because you were taught to feel that way.
That's the core of the whole update, isn't it?
It is. Loving your body just as it is will give you more intense pleasure and desire.
Man, if we could just delete all that shame code, imagine how much better the system would run. Man, I need a refill. My brain is enough starting to glitch.
Same. Let's take 5 before we get too deep into the biology.